Find Kerrigan.
Blizzard is known for these just amazing pre-rendered cinematics, but the limitation there is that since they're so complex, that it's difficult to create a lot of footage. In-game cinematics function as this really cool supplement.
Basically, we make movies using the game engines. We can iterate very quickly.
You get a lot of flexibility and freedom from the speed at which we can work.
That also allows us more freedom to experiment and collaborate.
Basically, we can do a lot more with a lot less.
Just helps us develop more story, gives the players more content.
We're able to tell different kinds of stories as well.
Probably one of the best tools we have to tell story. The whole series is about Kerrigan's journey from being the Zerg, her love story with Jim Raynor, and how she dealt with Mengsk.
We have 9 stories to tell to bring her from this point to this point.
I mean, she goes through like this crazy roller coaster ride, chasing after people and killing people. And
she's just like hell-bent on revenge.
But Jim Raynor each tried to convince her not to, or to give up the hate and revenge. But they got separated, and she went on a warpath.
The cinematics department works very closely with the game team to come up with first scripts, then storyboards.
We use storyboards as a kind of a gateway into showing people what we're working on.
They give an idea of the depth and of where the camera is supposed to be and where the characters are supposed to be.
And we create a 2D animatic, which is basically a sequence of storyboards linked up together with music, sound effects.
We rough out a tremendous number of iterations, and we just keep throwing new ideas out.
The iteration is just part of the job.
That allows us to experiment and come up with new ideas to try to tell it the sequence as well as we can.
things will change on the game side, which will change what happens on a cutscene on our end.
The story drives it so quickly that oftentimes we just sketch and just doodle very quickly. It's really about coming with the best story.
Once we have that, we start working on animation, creating models, and putting together a scene.
Previs is the first stage after the storyboards.
Taking our 2D cinematics, 2D storyboards, and put it in a 3D environment.
So we can start to get a feel for the staging, the walking, the pacing.
We work out the cameras, most of the actions, a little bit of animation.
In the case of Kerrigan, we will place her into the scene in such a way that it exaggerates her moods, her feelings.
Basically tell the story within the shot. What's the story? What's the main point?
Yep. Like riding a bike.
Amon Temple, actually, we took a very, very simple approach.
We shot it as much we could as a live action sequence.
We plot out the entire sequence, all the animation, in very crude, simple manner.
We would treat the environment as a set, and we would have the characters staged out and say, okay, here are our actors.
And then once that's done, we just go into our InnerSense room, which is our motion capture camera room.
We would have Ben hold the camera. He could actually just take that virtual camera and move around it and shoot it.
So that the shots that we create are more exciting and more alive.
What this process brought us, or showed me, is that even though this place is huge, this temple is huge, we're not going to see a whole lot. So with those information, I went with a more simplistic approach to the temple.
He told you of ruin, extinction.
For the Xel'Naga set, it was kind of a different look. So we kind of wanted to create something that had a little bit more of a mystical feel rather than a futuristic or a visceral feel.
What we did was we actually looked at all temples, super old temples. We wanted to get that ancient feeling.
So we were trying to do a lot of stone inlaid with metal. We looked at a lot of like ancient Egyptian references.
But it needed to be extremely, extremely sci-fi'd.
Open the door, son. Valerian's orders, sir. No visiting.
Open the door.
We did the lab very first. It was one of the biggest sets we ever built.
We had Kerrigan in a laboratory, and it's like a medical environment.
So we looked at a lot of like sci-fi movies, you know, and we kind of wanted to see what do we want from this lab to be. We wanted it to be super high tech, but at the same time, we also wanted it to be a prison.
There was a lot of variety in the different types of pieces that were in the set.
From the elevator to the screen to the cell room Kerrigan's in, and even the door.
I think that we were definitely thinking about just making something that was sterile to kind of get across this vibe that she's undergoing a lot of testing.
Simple shapes in the tech and in the environment, a lot of lighter colors.
And then just try to combine all that into this, call it fortress, that kind of just built just for Kerrigan.
Believe. Behold, Xeris.
When Zeratul show a vision of what Xeris is, there's two primal Zerg creatures running around, basically hunting each other.
The idea behind the primals was this was the Zergs on their home planet before they were altered.
We wanted to make them like they could hold their own against the old Zerg and maybe even more.
Prehistoric Zerg, you know, more like dinosaur versions of the Zerg.
They're embodiments of the pure DNA that makes them what they are.
So it's a very nice change from going into the very insectoid Zerg into the more, you know, natural kind of Zerg.
So we didn't want that feeling that they were dirty or grungy or anything like that. They were much more pure.
They fight. They evolve.
We create all these like Zerg creatures. We had to know how they move. We have these really cool concepts, and we assume they're awesome for animation.
But now we have a previs department, and so that helps out a lot. When we get the scenes, we just start animating without having to worry about other things.
The hardest part is actually pushing the animation a little bit further, like style-wise. We did a lot of reference for it. You got to do a lot of reference just to actually bring that to life, because if you try to do it thinking about it in your head, it's going to be really difficult.
A lot more went into it.
We worked in conjunction with the animators, and we made a system where they can essentially make the facial expressions that they need and get those into the rig quickly. There's a lot of emotional stuff going on in Heart of the Swarm. I think the rigs really gave the animators the ability to tell that story in a much more effective way.
It's really down to really subtle details in the face. So we try to push the facial expressions a lot, and then for us, just the general silhouette, the pose is very important. She's still fundamentally human, so making that silhouette that again is covered in spikes like all the Zerg creatures read sad or compassionate takes a little bit more work.
Her attitude, her animation gets more and more intricate.
Because this is Kerrigan's campaign, we really had to step it up and make sure she looks awesome.
For the most part, she's this badass chick who's gonna go kick everyone's butt.
She definitely has her own way that she holds herself.
Her walk is different, and then she grew high heels.
In the last cutscene that we did, we couldn't quite get the feel of a woman. Everything that we did, all the walks and all the stances, it was kind of like, it felt like a guy doing it, not really like a woman doing it. So we had to call in Tina, and she has heels and was wearing her heels and had the feel that we wanted.
Face me, Nerude.
We had to come up with the Zerg Kerrigan. So we had to come up with the whole phase of what she looks like as not ghost Kerrigan, but almost like a prisoner Kerrigan.
From the last game, we had like a Zerg version of her, and we had to sort of like humanize her face, trying to incorporate textures that were more friendly, you know, and then...
Oh, obviously her dreads. We kept her dreads from Wings of Liberty. We had to hit certain look for when she was a ghost.
At the same time, you know, it's Kerrigan, you know, she's got to be sexy, she's got to be hot, so a lot of effort went into actually designing the suit, you know, make sure she looks good in that.
Still want to tell people that she's not fully ghost, because we associate ghost kind of with that bluish glow. So I'll give her that orange glow. It's mostly all about color. As far as her display of her power,
it just goes from being subtle to over-the-top crazy.
We start with her being more ghost-oriented, so we're looking to like more psionic, so she can lift off people, crush objects.
You don't want to see her powers, but kind of hint her potential, because at the point you don't know that she's going to turn into Zerg again.
As the story progresses, she kind of evolves back into, she becomes a Queen of Blades again. And this is after she goes to Xeris and she gains her powers back.
We started looking into more Zerg power. How does she use her wings? How does she incorporate the swarm into her fighting?
everything just all hell breaks loose at that point.
She transforms, and all of a sudden now she's a more badass Kerrigan. She controls all Zerg now.
She got the bioluminescent pattern on her body, her face.
Her colors are subtly changing to more saturated purples and more deeper colors.
The color represents pretty much her mood.
When Kerrigan gets upset, she amplifies her power through, we visualize it through her bioluminescence. It kind of glows a little bit more.
The mood of the lighting and all the effects, everything ties in together pretty nicely.
What have you done?
What I had to.
We're a team that tries to get as much value for the work that we do as we can.
We want to be great storytellers, be able to churn out a lot of story.
We pour a lot of love, a lot of our sweat and blood into these cinematics.
And I think it definitely shows.
I think people are really going to like it once it gets out into the wild.
It's pretty impressive the amount of work that such a small group puts out.
It's scary and daunting at first, but we all had a lot of fun.